All right, Tim Sykes here. Another crazy day. I don't know when we're going to get a day off, but I can't freaking wait. It's a good problem to have to be overwhelmed, but it definitely is a problem because there are so many plays. I am just mentally and physically exhausted, but it's my duty to trade these and to catalog them so that you can learn from them. We won't always have markets like this, so I'm grateful for every opportunity. HMNY, has now gone from the ones to the 15s in 2 days. It is absolutely pathetic for anyone to hate on penny stocks when you see this. This is not the first supernova. It is not the last. I've been cataloging them and trading them for nearly 2 decades. It's getting awesome and it's getting very fun. So many of you guys nailed HMNY. I was totally too chicken shit to trade it. Here are my trades. I made just under 2 grand today on plug a little bit. SYNC, I had probably my best trade of the day. This is a contract winner. They won a new contract with $1 billion company. This stuff doesn't happen every day. I know some of you guys are just beginning and you're like, oh, there's plays all the time. We are in an incredible, incredible market right now. And I also took some profits on JVA. I'm glad I sold some last night after hours in the 780s. It actually had a nice little morning spike here attempt. If you got up really early, it did go above 5. I wasn't up that early. I'm on the West Coast for a few days. But there was a nice little morning spike. I bought it at 450. So whenever it actually held 450 again. So whenever a stock like JVA holds a key support level, and how do you determine that 450 is a key support level? Well, it's the multi-month breakout. I really do keep it this simple. I don't use any advanced technical analysis bullshit tools. I like buying stocks that hold just above their former highs. So this is an earnings winner, and you had multiple opportunities to buy it in the 450s and sell it in the 480s, 490s, 5s. So that was my win. And then SYNC, this is the first big green day. SYNC, I'm watching GIVO also because that's surging, but SYNC is at 350 after hours. I had my first buy this morning at 314, $3.14 a share. So it's already moved up 10% since my buy. And then I also bought some at around 330-ish when it was, or 340-ish actually, when it was, breaking past the morning high. When it's holding just above, very similar actually to JVA. JVA is a multi-month breakout above 450. When SYNC has trouble pre-market at 340, 335, 337, 337, and then all afternoon it's holding above the 335, 340 level. Guess what? That is good news, especially for a stock like SYNC, because this is the first big green day. It spiked, and held its gains rather nicely when they won the deal, the $100 million a year deal for AT&T, and they won it away from Yahoo. So this little company is stealing these big contracts, and today they just signed a nice contract with a $1.2 billion company for next generation TV. So, I don't know how far this stock goes, but I like buying stocks that break out and hold their breakouts. So I'm up like 1,000 on this one. In JVA, I made nearly 1,000, and then I had some small profits on plug, which didn't really do anything. Sometimes I buy a stock. There was news of, that they're working with FedEx, and there were some new tweets, and it was spreading in chat rooms. And, I bought it at 196. It went up to 204. I didn't catch the top. Even now, I'd be down 4 cents a share. So some stocks are just scratches. That does not mean that they're a bad trade. That does not mean that you shouldn't do them. In this market, I'd encourage you to be a little more aggressive than normally when there is breaking news. But you also have to be careful. RADA is a play that spiked a lot today, and now it's dropping after hours as they just basically said that the earlier news is inaccurate. It was rumored that they were getting these big military deals, and there's some confusion as to which militaries are actually, getting the deals. And I think they got the deal with the Israeli army, but the news hinted that it was the U.S. Army, and then they just said, actually, no, there's no U.S. Army involved. So be careful. Don't trust any of these companies. Speaking of MGT, had a big morning spike where, the founder of Atari joined the company. As I've been saying in watch lists galore, everyone is incentivized to keep this stock above $2 a share. It's not random that they keep putting out press release after press release. It's not that they're a really good company. It's that they're, very aware of that they need to stay above $2 a share. The problem is that volume continues to fade and it can't really hold its spikes. So if and when it does take out 225, this can get very ugly very quickly. And I really would not be surprised to see it get down to the ones. That said, I'd be scared to short it in this market environment because who knows what McAfee and his friends have in store. And we had more great morning spikes today. CALI, crazy morning spike from the 1s to the 6s. You had to be quick. What was another one? EAC had a big pre-market spike. Let me show you from yesterday. From 54 cents all the way up to $2. And, this one lost most of its gains. So there was really no way to profit off that unless you were shorting. And the same with Cali, there was much more money on the short. I had some students who banked on that, some students who banked on the VBLT short. And then also, what was the other one? CYCC. That had a nice shorting, fading price action too. So plays galore, up and down. You got to be prepared. You're not always going to find shares to short. Oh, PACD also is another one that's been spiking, insane. And GEVO was another spiker, and this one keeps going. This one rarely holds its gains, but it looks like, in this market, screw it. Everything is just spiking. So if you find like a low flow play that's spiking, and GEVO actually did have really good news with their alternative fuel being used by, I think it was Alaska Airlines. But look at the long-term chart. These are all junk stocks, so just beware. Speaking of junk stocks, also BLIN was spiking, and this one just keeps going. So spike after spike. Oh, VLTC was another one. From the 3s to the 4s, back down to the 3s. DRWI is another junk one that spiked. I mean, I can't remember the last time we've had this many plays. I'm trading the safer plays like JVA and SYNC, but they're still very solid and still very volatile. But let me congratulate a few of my students. $2,000 for me, that's nice. But awesome job, Freddie. His first $1,000 profit day. And he says, Timothy Sykes, you're changing lives. Thank you for all that you do. Well, thank you, Freddie. You're too kind. And I'm glad that you profited on HMNY. It's exciting to make your first $1,000. Here were 2 students from my chat room. Chris was in on GEVO, made only 700. Some people are like, oh, I screwed up so bad. I only made 700. I only made 800. You got to be grateful for it all. I've been doing this nearly 2 decades, and I screw up every day a little bit. No big screw ups, fortunately, because I'm trying to stay disciplined and I'm trying to cut losses quickly. But, this is not an exact science. So don't feel bad if you don't do great or perfectly. If you can lock in 700, like Chris did, and Jiang's made some money on GEVO, it's okay to sell too soon. Eric, one of my students, he's up nearly 2,000 on the day. He is just chugging along, and he is doing this part-time, mind you. Mark Crook, who used to be a part-time trader, now is full-time. He's watched all of my video lessons 3 times. He's now the moderator in my challenge chat room, and he nailed ORIG and UEC. Oh, I totally forgot ORIG. Just another one. I really can't keep up with all these plays that are just spiking. But props to Mark. He made a few thousand. Trina made a quick 200 on GEVO. Uis, I love this. I'm going to give him a follow because he said, I listened to one of your webinars yesterday and learned a lesson that made me 1,400 today. Uis, this is exactly right. This is exactly why I teach and why I do so many webinars and video lessons and DVDs. The lessons that I teach are applicable to every new play. And the more you study, the better prepared you are, the higher your odds, for success. And remember, even though I have all these students profiting, some students I'm sure are losing. They're not necessarily reporting them, honestly, like they should be. I'd love actually if you guys lost and you tweeted about it and you showed the screenshot. That would be useful. There are more lessons from losses. But at the same time, you do need to congratulate yourself when you have these profits. It's very exciting. I know. I remember when I first began. So congratulations to everybody learning. Even if you're not trading, even if you're just paper trading, at least you're seeing these opportunities, seeing these plays. You see that I'm missing plays left and right, and I'm still making 1,000, 2,000 in a day. Here is the chart, and my students are up 200,000 plus. This is just fantastic. A lot of you guys wrote it from like 4 to 5 or 4 to 6 or 7 to 8 or 7 to 12. It doesn't matter as long as you try to take a piece of this. And, I actually have not done it yet. I'm much better on the way down, and this will crash and burn. It's already actually down to 11, so it's dropped a little bit. But, this will crash much more in the coming days, so there's money to be made on the way up and on the way down. Never forget that. Here is Cameron. Awesome job on HMNY. Bought in the 8s, out at 13. Made 65%. Don't get used to this stuff. Here is Lee Smith. He was shorting MGT, and he made 350. Actually, he had another one. Where was his other one that he showed me? He likes to retweet me. I like that. Let's see. Oh, this was his one. Shorted Cali, and he shorted at 310 and covered at 260. Made his biggest profit, $940. And for those of you wondering, some people are like, why do all these guys only have a few tweets? Because one of the things that, we assign when you're a new student is get on Twitter. And I encourage all of you guys to get on Twitter. So a lot of my students are brand new to Twitter. We don't make up any students. We don't make up any accounts like some people actually think. The beauty of my business is that it's all real. And it's a surprise to many because there are so many fakes in this industry. But all I can do is share real students and real trades. Here's Alex. I like this. He's like, nice $800 day, but very disappointed in my HMNY trade. Panicked when the initial red to green move got stuffed. Do not fear, Alex. You are trading the scariest, most volatile stocks in the entire stock market. Don't feel bad. And especially when you make 800. Even if you lost 800, HMNY is scary. So stop trying to be such a perfectionist. Here's Lee's other trade, by the way. Here's Austin, shorted CYCC overnight in the 7s, covered in the 5s. And he says, praise be to you. No, praise be to you, Austin. Good job. And then June Sebastian just tweeted me this. I have so many more, but this is just a little sampling. And he was buying GVO at 51 cents, sold it at 65 cents, made $490 today. Not bad. And he made $1,000 selling this and CRC. I didn't even see CRC. Is that another one? Yeah, this is a little higher price for me. But so many plays. SYNC is my top watch for tomorrow because it keeps holding this breakout and, it has spiked. So congrats to all longs on so many plays. And you short sellers, licking your wounds, being like, all these stocks are scams. They shouldn't keep going. Welcome to the bull market, motherfuckers. Okay? You either adapt or perish. And a lot of these short sellers have just gotten crushed in the past few days and weeks. And they get very quiet and they think the world has gone insane. We've seen this, or I've seen this kind of mania before. This is the beauty of, learning from somebody who has seen bull markets and bear markets. So I'm trying to give cowardly advice and teach you to trade like a coward in all markets. So you'll see me miss lots of plays left and right because they're too risky. But I cannot advocate cowardly trading enough. That means cutting losses quickly, taking profits far too soon. Don't try and hold for like a triple or a quintuple on these plays. Understand that all of these stocks are pretty much junk, except actually SYNC, which surprisingly has these big contracts. This might actually be a good long-term hold, but for me, I'm just in it for the momentum. I had a great buy, 10% lower than it was now, and I still think that it can spike a little more. So congrats to everybody learning and profiting. And, if you're on the sidelines, don't rush it. Wait until you feel comfortable. These are scary stocks. So just keep studying and keep it on, and you will see these opportunities begin to make better and more sense over time the more you see it. Thank you. I'll see you in the chat room tomorrow.